Thank you very much to all for coming to this QED event, IoT on the Move. My name is Xavier Potau. I'm from Technopolis Group, a consultancy company doing policy studies in the area of research and innovation, and I will be moderating this session. It is for me a great honor and a great privilege to be here with distinguished speakers and with all of you. So thank you to QED for inviting me to moderating this session. I just wanted to take this first 10 minutes to describe a little bit what is IoT and the promise of it and what are some of the main challenges in this area. So we are going through another shift in functionality of the internet and in the different types of services that can be provided. From the inception of being a network where it was mostly about posting content and having a level playing field for posting content, towards more of a network where we have services on top of it that are provided by different companies, and towards a network where one of the main factors is connectivity amongst people, maybe through social media and instant messaging, video conference, and so on and so forth. So the next shift is going to be about connecting inanimate objects to the internet and making them interact. Not only everyday objects, but also industrial assets and machinery, complex physical machinery, and also vehicles. And all of this is made possible by several trends, we could say. One is the miniaturization of electronics, not only processors, but actuators and memory and other components. The other one is the reduced energy consumption of this, which makes possible to include them into everyday objects. And the other one is the increase in speed and resilience and coverage of wireless communications. But why are we going through all of this trouble to try to connect everything into the network? What do we gain from it? We wouldn't do that, and we wouldn't go through this process if we didn't see a great promise from it. So if you think about it, to combine the global reach of the internet with the ability to both read and manipulate the state of objects or machines that are at a distance, it's a pretty powerful thing. And for regular people, and in our personal lives, it feels almost like a superpower, right? So if I can switch on the boiler in my house, or I know that there is a traffic jam and I need to take a different route home, all of that, we start taking this for granted, but that's a pretty fundamental shift. And likewise, in business, is extremely useful because for example, it allows me to plan better routes for my fleet of trucks, or it allows me to predict when a certain component in a very complex machine, like a high-speed train, it has a likelihood to fail. And that allows me to then avoid the consequences of downtime, both monetary consequences and the possibility of having accidents. So in summary, it gives me a higher ability to do much more informed decision making and increases the flexibility of both my industrial assets and their connectivity to all of the parts of the supply chain. So you can see that this has a pretty fundamental impact on industry and on European industry and how well it works, how efficient it is, both in terms of productivity, but also energy and resource efficiency and the types of impacts that can be derived from that. So this can make our European industry more productive and more resource efficient. It can generate new types of high-value jobs, and it can generate growth in new markets. So it is important that we pursue it. On the other hand, that there are several other things we need to take into account. The potential for disruption in established industries and business models, and the possibility of making certain types of very, very frequent jobs less needed or even obsolete. So we have to deal with the consequences of that. In terms of the set of challenges that IoT is facing, with regards to how we scale IoT to include all devices and all vehicles. So we can talk, for example, of what happens if interoperability, standards, and liability issues are not solved. Then we run the risk of IoT being reduced to silos of activity in specific industries or within specific companies. If cybersecurity issues are not solved, it can make our lives and our critical infrastructure more vulnerable to bad actors, because we are exposing a wider surface to the world. If things such as privacy and data protection are not addressed, it can make our societies less cohesive and with less trust. Has the potential to affect that as well. So as policymakers, these are some of the big questions of this time, and maybe IoT as a field is at this sort of crossroads. So that is why it is important and interesting that we are all here to discuss these issues. So for example, how do we strike a balance between protecting people and consumers and critical infrastructures, but in doing so in a way where we still encourage innovation and experimentation and new things to come up. So to guide us through this and to talk about IoT in transport, in different areas of transport, we have here a distinguished set of speakers.